Yeah, it's been a while. Sorry I haven't posted anything in probably a month, maybe a little over a month at this point now. It's early March in Colorado, so weather's starting to get better. Um, February is not the best. It's been cold and snowy, colder than normal and snowier than normal this past February. So haven't really got a chance or haven't had some good content to post. So I apologize on that, but hopefully the weather's getting better here so we can start to do some more outside things. I'm in here in the garage, and the garage is a little bit different, but still a ways to go. I do have a big new toolbox I got and did clear out some of the space in here. Got a lot of ZZ Performance parts and things I need to install in the next several months coming up here. But so, yeah, it's been a while. I do try to post quite a bit on Instagram. Not necessarily every day, but I probably post at least 5 days a week or so with BP Motorsports on Instagram. So that's probably the place you can get more information quicker. In the last month or so, not a lot's been going on. So not a lot of new stuff per se, but I'm always putting different cars and different things I have and whatever up there. So if you want to check that out, that'll probably give you newer, more up-to-date information. But yeah, hopefully the videos start coming a little more frequently now. I actually shot a couple videos I'm going to post up, or what these videos are going to be, over a year ago. It was quite a while back. I didn't think I was going to use them, and I figured, well, you know, might as well put them up. They're of my 4x4 trucks, I guess you could say. My Silverado, 2003 Silverado, and also the 99 Suburban. So first one here, this is my kind of just a quick intro to my 99 Suburban. Some issues it currently has, things I want to do, and then yeah, go from there. So here's a little intro on the GMC. So I want to do a new video here and introduce you to, I guess I'll call them the 4x4s. Apologize for the wind here. It's been insanely windy the last couple days. Today it's calmed down quite a bit, so hopefully it's not too noisy here, but the breeze does pick up and die off quite a bit, so not sure exactly about the audio quality, but hopefully it's decent. So quick little introduction here. This is my 1999 GMC Suburban and my 2003 Chevy Silverado. So had these trucks for a little while. I've had the GMC for years. They're both mainly stock. I think they both have K&N intakes on them, but beyond that, they're pretty much stock for the moment. But there are some modifications I want to do to both of them. So I figure we'll start out with the GMC and we'll go from there. So 1999 GMC Suburban. It's a 2500. This is one of the last years for the, what do they call them, the OBS style Suburbans. 99, they were starting to come out with the newer generation. Silverado and Sierra is kind of like these. The nose is a little bit different on the Chevys, but I think they might have gone maybe a year or two further with 2500s. But anyway, this one does have the 454 four-wheel drive. It's mostly stock. It has not been driven much in the last couple of years. Unfortunately, I took a trip down. to Phoenix a couple years back, and believe it or not, went down to get a snowmobile, of all things, down in Phoenix. But anyway, that's a story for another video. But truck ran fine. Got back, still okay. And that was probably in like fall, a couple years back in the fall. And didn't use it too much. This is just kind of like a camping, hauling, snowmobile, trailer use, bad weather type of vehicle. But early that winter, started to burn some coolant, or started to use up coolant. And then a little bit later, started to see some white smoke out the tailpipe. So figured head gasket. It's got 150,000 miles, and they were pretty easy miles. The previous owner, I've had it almost probably 10 plus years. The previous owner, I don't think they ever towed with it. I think the first owner is probably the one who towed with it and put a it's got a hitch in the back and a, what do you call it, trailer controller. I think those are both aftermarket, so they probably did that the first owner. So I think it's had a pretty easy life, but you know, big block, 150,000 miles. Started to blow some white smoke, so didn't really use it throughout that winter. I had I guess back then I had a S10 ZR2 pickup truck that I had recently purchased, so that became kind of my daily winter beater, driver, bad weather, pulled a 2-place snowmobile trailer, things like that. But anyway, so it sat for a while, and then it's probably last summer, I guess, I decided can't hurt anything. I'll try one of those fix in a bottle tricks. I can't remember the brand, but it was 15 bucks, something like that. You put that chemical stuff into your radiator and then cycle it through a few times in the vehicle, and it kind of worked. You know, it doesn't blow white smoke anymore, but I still really haven't used the thing much, so I'm gonna go ahead and do a proper fix on it. So anyway, let's see if we can fire this thing up. This is a the door sounds great. This is a I think an SLT model, which I don't remember all the specifics from the 90s trucks, but fires up pretty good. If you can hear it, it does have a that's a lifter noise, but it's pretty much loaded. Leather everywhere, 90s leather, so this surface is actually leather where the outside surface is just vinyl. This seat's been ripped since day one, and believe it or not, it has never expanded. That's how it was 10 years ago, and it's never gotten any worse. So I don't know, I guess if you're careful about it, it won't get worse. But yeah, otherwise interior, it's just bone stock. No real issues in here, I mean, other than just wear and tear. But let's pop the hood on this thing. $454. I guess this would be one of the last big blocks. They had the what, the 496 or whatever, the 8.1 liter, whatever that thing was, for a couple years after this. But other than the potential head gasket issue, it actually runs pretty good. But yeah, pretty much stock. Had a few animals, a few critters in here, and over the years ate away at that liner under the hood a bit. But yeah, I mean, other than the head gasket issue, which I don't know how, I mean, it needs one, but that's one of the projects. Just gonna go ahead and fix it, not do this quick fix, even though it's held in there for I don't know how long. But anyway, let's follow up a little bit more and talk about a few things I want to do with this. So cosmetically, it's okay. I mean, it's losing some paint on the hood, or sorry, it's losing some paint on the roof, actually a little bit on the hood as well. I've probably never waxed it in the entire time I've owned it. Paint was decent, okay, when I got it. It's always just been kind of a camping vehicle, bad weather vehicle, hauling, things like that. So mechanically, other than the current issue with the head gasket, it's always been pretty solid. So I should clarify, there's a couple things. It does have a K&N intake. I took the shield, sorry if the wind's picking up again. I took the shroud off when I was messing with a couple things, I think, last time. So I have that to put back on whenever everything gets put back together. But otherwise, It did have, the stock intake was big and had this big piece over here. I took all that off. It got a lot louder, I can tell you that, when you put the K&N on there. The factory intake was pretty quiet. But as far as fixes and things to do on this, number one, head gasket. Also want to do mechanical wise, it really needs injectors. It fires up okay when it's cold, fires up okay when it's hot, but that kind of in between, the injectors leak and it kind of feels like a flooded carbureted vehicle, and you have to give it some gas and you got to hold it for a few seconds and it will fire up, but it definitely takes a little bit of time. So want to do injectors as well. It needs lifters. I'm not really going to bother with a cam or anything, even though the cam in this thing is super mild. So mechanically, that's pretty much it to get it running good again. But a couple of performance things. It's got the intake. You know, newer vehicles, the cold air intakes really don't do that much. They make it louder. Being that I'm at an elevation, I do like to put intakes on almost everything I have, because you just got to get as much air in there as you can, because there's not much in here to start with up here in elevation. But so what I really like to do on this is get rid of those awful manifolds and get some headers on this thing. Apparently on these old 90s, especially, well, pretty much anything 90s into the 80s, anytime they put these old iron manifolds on these trucks, especially the big blocks in particular, really restrictive. A good set header, specifically full length headers, really wake it up. So one of the things I like to do, other than fixing the issues it has, is go with a set of I can't remember, there's a few different brands out there that'll do four-wheel drive. There's a lot more for two-wheel drive, but get a set of full-length headers, and then probably go into a true dual exhaust. There's a few different kits out there that aren't necessarily designed for this truck, but I think could be pretty easily modified. So want to look into those, and I think that's something performance-wise to really wake this thing up. Otherwise, a couple cosmetic things. The front bumper got actually ran into a tree at about 5 miles an hour. I was doing something, I can't remember what I was doing years ago. I was doing something with a trailer, and I was basically focusing on everything backing up, and then I went forward and I kept shifting the vehicle over, and then bam, right into a tree at, well, enough to mess up the bumper. So I want to get rid of the chrome, go with just a simple black bumper, do the same on the back. It's got basic Krager black wheels and some what are those things, General Grabber AT2 tires on there now. Those are 265s. It's pretty common on newer vehicles. This thing actually came with a 245, which is, it looked really small on this thing. So that looks, for towing and everything, I think that works. So we can keep that for now. And yeah, so that's the quick little intro to the Suburban. Doesn't have a cool nickname at the moment. Oh, this right here, little tiny chip on there, and I was power washing it a few days ago to just kind of get it somewhat cleaned up because it hadn't moved in a little while, and boom, chipped the paint off and expanded to all that. So probably fix that. I mean, there's other little chips on this thing, so it's not too worried, but I'll take care of that. It needs a windshield. But yeah, that's the Suburban. A few projects coming up, probably a few more over the winter, and I do have a 24-foot Hallmark enclosed trailer. It's all steel, so it's heavy. I actually got it primarily for snowmobiles, asphalt snowmobiles, not even no winter sleds. Right now it's primarily storage for some things, and I want to be able to use the sub to pull it. I don't think they'll have many issues. You know, going up mountains might still be a bit of a haul for this thing. I think it's like 290 horsepower, 430, 440 torque stock at sea level. So whatever I can do to get the max out of it now, or a little more out of it with exhaust, I'll try and see. It gets, you know, pretty bad fuel mileage, not surprising. So anyway, that's a Suburban. Next year we'll go to the Silverado. So that was an intro to the 99 GMC Suburban. Few things I need to do to that before I can really use that for any kind of travel, trips, hauling, etc. I've only used it around the house here a little bit in the last several years. So a lot of things to do with all the projects, and that's just one more on the list. But yeah, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next one.